Hello everyone, this is Kutsu Akadina. Welcome to this explainer. So you've probably wondered about this yourself, right? If you've had COVID more than once, what does that actually mean for your health down the road? Does it get easier each time, or could there be new risks we haven't thought about? Well, let's dive right in. A really fascinating new study called INSPIRE has just come out, and honestly, the answers it gives are pretty surprising. What these researchers did was follow hundreds of people to see what really happens when you get infected over and over again. So here's how they did it. They basically split people into two main groups. You had the folks who only got COVID one time, and then you had another group, almost the same size, who got it again at least 90 days after they first recovered. Okay, to really get what's going on here, we have to kind of rewind the clock. Let's go back to the early days of the pandemic, before Omicron was the main player. Back then, the data was telling us a very different story. Now, when we talk about long-term health, what did the study actually look at? They specifically zeroed in on people who were dealing with at least 3 of these long-term symptoms. We're talking about things like really bad fatigue or ongoing problems with different organ systems, stuff that just sticks around for months after the infection is supposedly gone. So, what did they find in those early days? Well, during those pre-Delta and Delta waves, the findings were actually pretty comforting. They really seemed to back up this idea that a lot of us were hoping was true. And here's the real kicker from that time period. For the Delta variant, it turned out that people who got reinfected had a lower chance of developing those nasty long-term symptoms. Yeah, you heard that right, a lower risk. It really looked like getting it again wasn't as bad for your long-term health. But, and this is a huge but, that good news didn't stick around. The moment the Omicron variant showed up on the scene, well, the entire script got flipped on its head. The researchers did the exact same comparison, but this time they looked at people who got sick with Omicron for both their first and their second infection, and what they found was a complete 180 from before. Check this out. It's a total reversal. Getting reinfected with Omicron was now tied to a significantly higher chance of having those long-term issues. So that same situation that looked kind of protective with Delta, suddenly, with Omicron, it looked a whole lot riskier. So let's just break that down, because it's the most important part. With Delta, getting it again meant lower long-term risk. With Omicron, getting it again meant higher long-term risk. It's wild, right? It just goes to show that the variant you get makes all the difference in the world. Okay, so this obviously leads to the million-dollar question. Why? What is going on here? Why would getting sick again be less of a big deal with one variant, but more of a big deal with another? Well, the researchers dug into a few different ideas, but one major clue seems to pop out more than anything else. And it all comes down to something pretty simple: time. Specifically, the amount of time between infections. Take a look at this. As the pandemic went on, the gap between getting sick the first time and the second time got shorter and shorter and shorter. We're talking it went from almost a full year in the beginning all the way down to just about 5 months during the Omicron wave. And this stacking of illnesses so close together could be the key. The theory is your body just doesn't get enough time to fully heal and reset before it gets hit with the virus again. On top of that, there might just be something fundamentally different about Omicron itself. Maybe getting it twice triggers a unique kind of immune damage. So let's pull all of this together. After seeing this whole story unfold, what's the big takeaway? What should we really remember from all of this? The number one thing to get from this is that getting COVID again is, well, it's complicated. That old idea that, the next time will just be milder or less risky in the long run, this data really throws a wrench in that kind of thinking. In fact, the scientists didn't mince words. Their final conclusion was pretty direct. Getting infected with Omicron over and over again may actually increase your chances of dealing with those persistent, long-haul symptoms. And that really leaves us with a huge question for the future, doesn't it? As new variants keep popping up, who knows how this story will change again? It's a powerful reminder that our understanding of this virus is still growing every single day. Kutsu Akademia, please subscribe to our channel and give us a like.